Well, the Minister of Education, Harun Edrisu, has directed teachers and education stakeholders to adhere strictly to the binary definition of sex, male and female, reiterating the government's position that sex must be defined solely on biological grounds. He made this clarification during a training session in Tamale on the Ghanaian Youth Handbook and the rollout of the guidance and counseling framework, stressing that there should be no ambiguity on the definition of sex within Ghana's education curriculum. Martina Bugri has more in the following report.
After controversies surrounding the Physical Education and Health Manual for secondary schools rolled out in 2024-2025, the minister tasked NACA to address the issue, saying that it is time the definition is clear without ambiguities.
There should be no ambiguity whatsoever regarding the definition of a man as in a man, a woman as in a woman, as in biological sex. And sex means biological sex. Reference to man, woman sex means reference to the biological sex and the sex of the person at birth. Settled. So in every educational literature, in Ghana must reflect it. So there should be no ambiguity whatsoever in the definition of a man, a woman, and sex. For our purposes, the sex of a person at birth holds. That depicts and reflects Ghanaian values and our laws.
Apologies for that, but Minority Spokesperson on Foreign Affairs and MP for Damongo, Samuel Abu Jinapor, has chastised Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa after the USA froze processing of immigrant visas for 75 countries, including Ghana. Samuel Abu Jinapor says the Foreign Minister must put the interest of Ghana first in taking positions in international relations after Ghana condemned the US capture of Venezuelan president. Speaking in an exclusive interview, Joy News, Samuel Abu Jinapor urged the government to engage in constructive dialogue to remove Ghana from the list of banned countries. Challenges that we are being confronted with, but the MP for Damongo and the Minority Spokesperson on Foreign Affairs, Samuel Abu Jinapor, is chastising Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa after the U.S. froze processing of immigrant visas for 75 countries, including Ghana. Samuel Abu Jinapor says the Foreign Minister must put the interest of Ghana first in taking positions in international relations. Listen to him.
It matters vis-a-vis the broader bilateral relationship between Ghana and the United States. And I want to conclude on that point by just cautioning, even whilst we are restraining ourselves into getting into details and coming to conclusions, that the foreign policy posturing of the government is one that I believe the government should take a second look at. And I'll give you two examples. Yes. The first one is the whole Middle East conflict and how the government is postured publicly. I think, and I've made this public, I've said it publicly many times, that measured diplomacy always gives better results rather than flamboyant and machoism, if you want.
The government says if an elephant has its foot on the tail of a mouse or of any small animal, and you claim to be diplomatic about it, then you are taking the side of the oppressor. That is why Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa and President Mahama says they have to be very frontal in taking a position. Yeah,
but every foreign policy must ultimately inure to the national interest, to the benefit of the country. The efficacy of any foreign policy anywhere in the world is whether or not it impacts positively on the national development goals of the country or the national interests of the country. So if you go out there and you are engaged in unbridled, unrestrained commentary on geopolitical issues, and in the end it affects your country and affects the national interests of your country, you haven't prosecuted an effective foreign policy. I mean, take for example Venezuela and President the arrest or capture or whatever of President, yes, and the posture of Ghana's government. And if you take the statement issued by the African Union, for example, and you put it side by side the statement issued by the foreign ministry of our country, whoa, what a difference. You will find that the African Union one was well nuanced, was very diplomatic and was measured. The Ghana one, at best, will be seen as a belligerent statement, a hot-headed statement. And these posturing, these kinds of posturing, they have implications.
Meanwhile, as the NPP's presidential primaries enter a home stretch, Samuel Jinapor, who is a leading member of the Bawumia campaign, says the NPP would be making a serious mistake if it chooses anyone other than Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as its presidential candidate ahead of the 2028 general elections.
Lead the NPP. And I've said it, and I want to repeat it. I think if you look at the contestants, and I know each one of them personally, I have respect for each one of them. And if you look at the times and the circumstances and all the factors, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia stands tall. And I think if we are poised and determined to win 2028 in particular, the candidate we should put forward should be Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Because 2028 is going to be a very crucial election. President Mahama will not be on the ballot box. The NDC will present a fresh candidate, and therefore the issues on the table are going to be extraordinary. They are going to be novel. They are going to be new issues that we have to deal with in 2028. And first, having marketed Dr. Bawumia in the manner that we've marketed him, he's been 2008. Since 2008. He's been at the forefront of Ghanaian politics for almost 2 decades. He's been vice presidential candidate on 4 occasions. He's been a presidential candidate in the last election. And so he's a well-marketed, known commodity. So I believe that if we present him in 2028, our chances are brighter. Not just that. Marketing is one thing. Secondly, he has a lot of experience. He's been on the campaign trail all these years. He's been a presidential candidate before. You cannot discount that. That means he has enormous experience. Thirdly, I believe that if you take Dr. Bawumia, look, a lot has been said about him. A lot of his opponents is gone after him, as is expected, chastised him, criticized him, and all of that. But what has never been said of Dr. Bawumia, or what has never been questioned of Dr. Mahamudu, is his integrity. And I think integrity in politics is absolutely important. And the challenge is out there. Not even on one occasion has he even been accused of an act which compromises his personal integrity. For 2 decades in public life, from the time he was deputy governor all through to vice presidential candidate, to becoming vice president for 8 years and becoming presidential candidate, his record is unblemished when it comes to incorruptibility and when it comes to integrity.
Well, away from that, the Nkusukum Omahin Okojeman Okesia Sando, the Seth, has emphasized that chieftaincy authority in Ghana is firmly subject to the 1992 Constitution, insisting that no individual, including traditional rulers, is above the law. He spoke during the swearing-in of Nana Sechi IV, Obatan of Nkusukum traditional area, Mankasim.
The Obatan of the Nkusukum traditional area has been without occupants for several years due to court issues until the installation of Nana Sechi IV this year. Speaking at Yamransa during the installation, Paramount Chief Okojiaman Okese Asando VI said the chieftaincy institution derives its legitimacy from the Constitution and must therefore operate within its limit to protect peace, justice, and national unity.
As some American the Constitution of Ghana, the Chieftaincy Act 759 Act 2008, equally nowadays or your customary duties and mambra in a man's on here little casted administrative and other statutory duties you do more. I am saying about your money. It's a constitutional man Ghana mass. Constitution Article 1 cross 1 Article 1 cross 2. Also there, the Constitution is the supreme law of Ghana. Any other law inconsistent or in contravention with it is void.
Nana Sechi IV, during his acceptance speech, assured that the interest and the peace of the community will be paramount.
To our first story now, and fuel prices are set to drop by as much as 3% at the pumps from today. The projection is contained in the latest Outlook report, which guides pricing of all marketing companies in the country.
The projected reduction has been influenced by the continued appreciation of the Ghana cedi against the dollar over the past 2 weeks, as well as declining prices of finished petroleum products on the international market. Despite the increase of crude oil prices on the international market due to the recent development in Venezuela, this was not enough to trigger price increases in Ghana, some analysts say. Based on data secured from the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, the price of petrol is expected to decline by 2.30%. This could result in a litre of petrol being sold at 11.75 pesos. Diesel is projected to decline by as much as 2.10%, which should see a litre being sold at 12.45 pesos. Liquefied petroleum gas is also expected to drop by up to 5.09%, resulting in a kilogram selling at 12.30 pesos. This is the second time this month that prices of petroleum products are being reduced at the pumps.
Away from that, the CEO of Delex Finance, Joe Jackson, has welcomed the establishment of a 12-member presidential advisory group on the economy, describing it as laudable. However, he cautioned against overestimating the role of the advisory board, emphasizing the need for tangible actions to drive economic growth. Mr. Jackson spoke to Joy Business.
First off, this is an excellent team. This is an A team. This is a team that we are proud providing advisory services to the government. And listen, this group, I don't think anybody can complain about the membership of the group, the skills they bring to the advisory role they have. It's spread and represented across various facets from the private sector, from the academia. This moment, we can't complain about this group. I don't think that they are going to be limited to one aspect of economic policy. I believe that they would span the whole spectrum, right? And it's important to understand that when you look at the document, there was no limitation. They're just to advise on economic policy, and economic policy spans a wide range of things. And so my understanding is that they will be looking at what the government is planning to do, what it is doing, and giving advice. That cannot be wrong. The government says, I will listen to your advice. I will listen to what you say. And so let's not elevate this group to become, they're not replacing the Ministry of Finance.
And that's how we wrap up the business updates. But we'll conclude with what's happening on the commodities market, after which we'll bring you the AM Sports. You stay on.